All right. This is group 22, and we are here for our midterm discussion. My name is Dylan Wilson.
I'm Tyler Woods.
I'm Demai Wilson.
I'm Kaylee Wolbert, and our topic is mental health in the workplace.
All right. So I'll be asking the first question, and that is, what initiatives do you think would be most effective in fostering a positive work environment?
So I think it's really important to find like a work-life balance. So I think in the workplace, there definitely needs to be some type of safe place for employees to relax, decompress, and not just be caught up in the like go, 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 like hustling of being at work. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. That's having a safe place would just make you feel more secure at work, and it would probably just help you get your work done better because you can just take a nice little break to decompress. It's a good answer. My next question is, in what ways do you believe workplace culture influences mental health, and how can companies actively cultivate an environment that promotes well-being among their employees?
Well, I think this one definitely strikes home for me because I feel like most people work for a company where they feel like there's some type of hostile work environment to some degree. Um, or just, when you come to work and you feel like nobody likes you, or you come to work and you feel like maybe people like you too much, because that can be a problem too. That is like really exhausting. And you don't want to get off work and be thinking about all of the things that happened over the day and just have no social battery and just be exhausted every single day. And
Yeah,
that's going to make you basically burn out in the long run. So cultivating a like atmosphere that doesn't do that is really important. And I feel like there are very few companies that are doing it well right now, but the things that seem to be working best is just kind of creating a more open atmosphere to talk about those things for starters, and then cultivating culture that does not create like toxicity. If you have problems with somebody, the culture should be okay, we go and address those problems with that person privately, and we don't make a big like rumor mill out of it and that sort of thing, create a hostile work environment. That should be built into the company culture, because most people just assume that that's like a common sense thing, and according to statistics it's not. So
exactly. Like you want the employees to go to work and actually enjoy what they're doing, enjoy the environment, because that's overall how they're gonna get their best. You're gonna get their best work. So that was a good answer as well.
No, 100%. I know with my current job, without like giving too many details, there tends to be a handful of people who like when they walk through the door, the energy just kind of shifts and not in a positive way. And so I know with my managers, we've been really working on trying to get those people in the mindset of enjoying coming to work, because just them, dreading coming to work and just like changing the tone as soon as they walk through the door, that affects everybody's mood throughout the day. And even like what you said, Tyler, when you go home, like you think about that, you think about how you felt all day long, and it's not easy just to let that go as soon as, you walk through your front door.
100%. Right.
Yeah, I think another good question is, do you feel like you work more efficiently or less efficiently when working on something you love versus something you don't love? And why do you think that?
I can come answer this question. So I think obviously I feel like I'm more efficient when I'm working on something I like to do versus like something I hate, obviously, because your passion's there. That's what drives you and motivates you to complete the task. So I just feel like in all aspects of life, if you like doing something, you're obviously gonna be better at it just versus like because like you'll enjoy it more and it won't feel like work to you. So yeah.
Yeah, I think I agree too. You're going to be more efficient when, you have a passion and a drive behind it. And typically when you have a passion about something, you probably have like a background in it or some inside information that just came with the territory of um, that job. So definitely getting a little more efficient work out of someone who loves something they're doing.
I agree.
That's interesting.
Um,
I tend to disagree a little bit, but go
gotcha.
ahead, Tyler.
My like thing in agreement with that would be people who love their job are going to go to work and deal with things that really irritate them, and that's not going to like it's going to be like, ah, that sucks, but I still love this job, so it's not going to affect them as badly. If you go to work and you hate your job, I know a lot of people that they'll let that dictate the rest of their day, maybe even
Oh
the
yeah.
rest of, like their week or their time at that job because of one bad thing. So it's like if you hate it, it's going to be that much easier to be like, ah, that's another reason I hated it was because that person said that the other day. Someone who loves their job isn't going to go, I hate my job because such and such said something bad. Like that's not their mental well-being is going to be so much better because they're not going to be taking all those little chips on the shoulder into every single day. I feel. But
Yeah. Um, I mean, it might vary depending on the situation because I'm just thinking about like when I used to work in kitchens, I used to hate washing dishes. I still hate washing dishes. So when I would, when that would be my job, like I would just go through it so quickly because the sooner I got it done, the sooner I would be happy to move on from that. But in a different circumstance where you're not doing such like nuanced tasks or something like so labor intensive, you might have more time to like cultivate passion from it, and then that might make you work more efficiently. Yeah, so it's like when I work in psychology, like I'll probably work more efficiently in that just because it's my passion. But for me, I'm like, if it's a task that I hate, like I'm just trying to get it done like super quickly, which you might not want to have that mindset either. Like, why would you be doing something that you hate for so much of your life, will y'all kind of agree with that, or is that just kind of like my personal experience type
Yeah,
thing?
I agree, but with that example, it's like quick doesn't always mean efficient. Being fast at something doesn't always mean that you're doing it with the best abilities or you're taking pride in doing it. So who knows?
That's honestly,
Who
that's
knows?
super true. And you want to wash dishes like the right way, you know?
Yeah.
Exactly, exactly. But it probably varies just on the example you use. So
yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
I feel
and
like it also depends on the person as well.
agreed. And people who hate their jobs will do their job faster because they hate it and they don't.
exactly.
So that can also happen. So I agree. I definitely agree, Kaylee. I feel like there's some truth to. I think it's a spectrum in a sense. I feel like there's a lot of different like rights and wrongs, and it is very, very different on a person to person, business to business basis. So
But before we move on to the next question, I think we are all kind of in agreement that you should be finding a way to work on something that you love, even if it's not right now, but like setting that up for the future.
Exactly.
Yeah.
definitely.
So, I mean, another question that I have is, what are some work-related challenges that can have a negative impact on your mental health? I know we've already kind of mentioned a few, but
Probably work-life balance. It's probably the biggest thing, especially nowadays when, people our age and our generation, we want to, go hang out with our friends, see our family members, and, go hang out and go to that concert and whatnot. A lot of people, especially like baby boomers, they're, so driven on, oh, I'm going to outwork every single person, and they just hate their life, you know, and they hate their life, and you can kind of tell that, they don't have the best outlook on, a healthy relationship with work. So I would probably say work life balance, and yeah, yeah, that'd be pretty much it for me.
All right. Sorry about that. The video cut off for some reason. So, um, on to my question now. My first one is, what challenges at work do you guys feel positively impact your well-being? So kind of on the opposite side of Kaylee's question, just kind of different direction.
Yeah. So I honestly I like when my manager gives me solo tasks because I feel like it positively impacts me because I just feel like I'm trusted by my manager and he feels I can complete the challenge like by myself and I won't need any help. So I just feel like doing stuff like that just because not only do I feel like better and more like motivated to do my job, but I feel like I'm also bettering myself as like an employee. So like I'm getting better at my job and stuff like that. So yeah, I feel just having like the like just I don't know what I'm trying to say exactly, but
That they
valuing
trust you
yeah,
to.
yeah, valuing the trust basically.
And one thing I wanted to mention here too is I didn't mention this on Kaylee's, but pressure is a good thing or a bad thing. And you know, in some situations, like when if your boss is pressuring you to get a task done, that can be exactly what you need to motivate you to get the task done. In other
Yeah.
situations, it can be, you know, it can have negative impact. So I feel like certain pressure challenges can be good, and you know, when you do accomplish them on time or you meet that whatever standard they wanted you to meet, that can like boost your self-esteem essentially. So.
Yeah.
Wow, I find myself reflecting a lot on my current circumstances in work while we're going through this. Yeah, I mean, if you have a manager who's like a drill sergeant and doesn't consider your feelings and treats you like, you know, a workhorse, and that's going to be negative. But if you have a manager who wants to cultivate your talents and recognizes what you're good at and gives you tasks oriented around that, I think that that is a super, super positive thing to have in the workplace environment.
Agreed. Agreed.
And then also something to add, it's like when you're especially going through challenges at work and you're running into brick walls. I think having like a good support system, a good manager, supervisor, whoever it is, someone to lean on, someone you can ask questions to. That also can just help you feel more welcomed and make you feel more motivated to complete your task at work.
Yeah,
Oh yeah,
for sure.
excellent point.
My next question is, again, we talked about it before. It's a little bit less open-ended, but it is a really good question to ask. And it is somewhat open-ended in that there isn't probably like technically a definitive answer. It's very much business to business right now. Because I say average, but realistically, what is the average business? What does that even mean? So my question is, do you guys feel like the average business or even the one that you're working at right now provides enough time for mental well-being for their employees?
Well, I think no, just because a lot of places will kind of shame you for even taking a personal day or PTO day or even calling out sick. A lot of people will pass judgment, just you taking a day, and think maybe there should be more, maybe federal laws or state laws kind of implement,
Yeah.
mandatory mental health days or just standard PTO added to just different companies' benefit packages. So overall, I would say no. I think as a country, we kind of need to take pride in everyone's mental health just moving forward.
Yeah, I would agree with that. And what's one interesting thing that I found while kind of researching and reading articles was that one article stated that over 12 billion days a year are lost due to mental health. Like, you know, whatever, somebody takes a day off because they're like, I just can't come into work today, whatever. And it costs the US over $1 trillion a year, apparently. And my thought is, if companies were to just provide more time and actually have like, rather than just, oh, you're taking a day off, like sick day, we actually have something in place for mental health.
Exactly. Yep.
That
Well,
would be amazing.
if companies paid more, you wouldn't have to work as much, which a lot of other nations do this. Like France is, you know, a big leading country in this, where it's like they just don't work 40-hour work weeks.
Yeah.
Like their shifts are shorter and they get paid more, and then their mental health isn't, you know, as impacted.
Yeah. If you come to work 3 days a week and you get as much done as someone who's coming to work 5 days a week, you should only have to work 3 days a week. I mean, that's
Exactly.
those extra 2 days. If you come in and do nothing because you already completed your thing, you're gonna hate being there. I mean, that's the reality. So I feel like I agree. I feel like the average business doesn't. I feel like it's not even that they don't provide at this point. It's that they don't provide, but it's also that they don't capitalize on what they could like realistically capitalize. They're losing money because they're not implementing things that they should. So that's my thought. But
It goes full circle too, because then people are working less efficiently because they're not in the right, you know, headspace.
yeah.
And then when you think about big corps too, though, a lot of people are getting paid salaries, so they're kind of considering, hey, if we're paying someone $70,000 a year, 40 hours a week, regardless, we have to pay them. So that 3-day work week or a 5-day work week,
Mm.
they're just thinking about money. They're thinking about how we can capitalize and get the most financial gains out of every single employee.
Yeah. Yeah. So I believe it's on to Demaya. I think it's your
Oh,
section.
it is. Okay. And then, so my questions are, in what ways can a company promote a culture that supports mental health and well-being among employees?
So I think a good way would just to be like have a positive work environment. Like in one of my previous jobs, a good way of fostering that was they would have like little mini parties after work where the employees could stay and just like bond with each other. And so it's more than just y'all come to work and you do your tasks together and you go your separate ways, but it's more of a bonding experience to help everyone just basically come together and realize you all have one common goal, and you can either work and just not value the friendship aspect of it, or you could all be friends and get the jobs done probably more efficiently and faster, and just it'll be more fun. So
Yeah, when you have like a brotherhood or a bond with someone, you kind of typically, go to bat for someone a little harder. You work harder. I think that's probably really good for being efficient at work.
I also feel
Actually,
like, oh, sorry, go ahead, Kaylee.
no, you go ahead.
I feel like on the manager's part, I think everybody here has probably gotten the like almost backhanded like great job. It's like they walk up and they're like, "Good job, you completed your task. Okay, move on to the next one." And
Or a pizza
don't,
party.
yeah, they don't like I'm not saying every task requires a good job, because at a certain point it is your job, and
Exactly.
you shouldn't be getting rewarded for doing your job to a certain extent. But at the same time, like if you do a task that was pressured, or the boss could tell that you were having a hard time with it, there should be a time to stop and go, hey, you did a great job, go home early, do something like that. Here's this reward, here's a bonus or something. I mean, not obviously it doesn't have to be that drastic, but like there should be time to recognize, hey, you did a good job, and not just, you're basically, it's like trading one weight for another weight. Like you're not getting a time to take a break between weight, if that makes sense. I
Yeah.
don't
Take rest.
Yeah.
Well, I was just going to say at my last job that I left for mental health reasons, I was a manager over there, and it was actually corporate policy that managers couldn't hang out with associates. Yeah, so like a couple people in the past had like lost their positions because they were hanging out with associates too much. I think that's okay. I understand like you have to have a balance between learning how to manage your associates and not being too friendly, but then also it kind of like put a little bit of a divide between the managers and the associates just because we couldn't really interact and have those bonding
Exactly.
moments.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. And then at a certain point, like they want you to be heartless so that when something bad happens, you can fire that person or discipline them or whatever. But it's like, is that the right direction for the
Exactly.
well-being? Is that better for everybody or worse? Because I would argue that like having an overly close relationship with somebody where it makes it difficult is probably better than just being able to like let them go without any problem, I feel.
yeah, I
And
agree.
then kind of to piggyback off Tyler's like first response, talking about recognition when you're completing a task and you do a good job on your task. I think that's important just because a lot of times you'll get recognition for doing a bad job. Your manager will pull you to the side and say, "Hey, you didn't meet the standard," or this, that, and other. You rarely hear about good stories of recognition when it comes to completing everyday task or that special project at work.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then my next question would be, what are some potential warning signs that an employee's mental health may be affecting their work, and how should employers respond?
Oof.
Believe I think this was one that I was going to respond to, but I mean, it's like I mentioned earlier, like all of those days that are being lost because of people having to be at home because they literally can't be at work without like having a breakdown. I feel like that's a pretty good sign. I don't think like to me, I think the average like mental health crisis is pretty obvious if you're looking. Like, are they coming to work on time? Are they is their appearance changing at all? You know, what is their attitude like when they're told things that would normally be considered like not a very big deal? Are they freaking out, or are they taking it in stride? I mean, it's really it's not that, like, most people don't hide it very well. I mean, realistically. So I feel like for the most part, if you cultivate a good relationship with your employees, you're going to be able to tell. Like, people know where I work, how I act on a normal day, and if I come in, they can tell when I'm having a bad day. And just recognizing that, and making accommodations based on that. Like, hey, I know, it sucks, you don't want to be here today, but I got you coffee. Keep going, keep up the good work. Little stuff like that matters a lot. So
Definitely appearance. I think that's a big one that like might not be addressed as much as like if someone's just like not having the time to take care of themselves as much. Like, that's totally not, not cool. And like, why would you, especially if you're selling a product, like you got to kind of, have it together. But if you don't have if your environment isn't cultivating that, then, yeah, I think that's a really, really good point that you made.
yeah.
Perfect.
Other than that, I believe that concludes our discussion. We made it through all of our points, and I believe we're well on time. So yeah, you guys are good to go. I'm good to go.
Awesome.
It was nice meeting you guys.
Yeah,
So,
nice meeting
Yeah,
you. Let
thank
us
you.
let us know if y'all have any problems with the editing or combining the footage.
alrighty, I appreciate it.
Yep.
Okay, thank you guys.
Catch y'all.